All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast. A lot to get to on today's episode because has this series now taken a turn? For the first couple games, both these teams were kind of playing it at face value, playing postseason hockey. But now we have some controversy. And is this going into the realm of these two division foes are now going to treat this like a regular season game and we're going to be throwing some bodies around? Is it called for? I think depending on the fan base that you're rooting for, you're on opposite ends of this thing. But in the end, the Avalanche are up 2-1 in this series and have taken home ice back. A lot to get to in this one, so let's start it off right now.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. Follow the show on social media outlets, LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Questions, comments, concerns, opinions to lockedonavalanche@gmail.com. And we had a lot of those. And follow the show on our YouTube channel over on YouTube. Hit subscribe, get notified when a new show goes live. All right, Kyle. So the Avalanche are in the lead here in this series, 2-1. It seems like that is the least thing that is getting talked about right now because for the first time in this series, you have, I guess it's controversy. It is controversy. We're not on the side of what Nazem Kadri did was intentional. But man, if you are just filtering through any social media page, because the name on the back of the jersey is Nazem Kadri, it's going to warrant controversy. And we'll obviously get to that. And it's gotten to the realm of ridiculousness from people throwing out slurs and racial slurs. And now we are getting the authorities involved in this. The entire thing has gone way too far. There's something about, rooting for your team and even rooting for your team with blinders on. I get that. I honestly get that. Fans are always going to think that their team did no wrong. The other team always did. But now when we're doing this is embarrassing. If you ask me, if you're in the Blues fan base, I get that not everybody is doing this, but you're associated with the St. Louis Blues as a fan base. You should be ashamed of the other fans that are doing this. So we're going to start there. We'll get to the game, but this is taking precedent right now. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I've tried to put myself in the shoes of these fans, and we talked about it in the Locked On Avalanche Twitter Spaces as the game was going on, because when this incident occurred, Twitter took a turn. There was a lot of calling for blood, a lot of really terrible takes, and I've been trying to wrap my mind around it. Like, when it comes to, is it just the situation? Is it just the team? Is it the fan base in general? Because, like, let's be honest here. We've done crossovers. We've played teams all throughout the season. And when it comes to hearing from the other fan base, we hear, like in this series, we've had a lot of St. Louis Blues fans in the comments talking about stuff. They travel. They're loud. They're boisterous. This is another situation that, honestly, I haven't been like this upset as an Avalanche fan, and I've said this in the space that, like, I was upset when Reeves was pulling Ryan Graves' hair out, but I don't remember calling for blood and like losing my mind. And that's another player that had a track record, and it was kind of a rivalry at that point between the two teams. But I don't remember just like it infecting my every thought to the point of it like affecting my day where I'm calling for blood, revenge. Like, I'm not going to be satisfied unless something is done.
And
Because let's be honest here, like,
yeah.
we also lost Sammy G in this situation, and nobody's talking about Sam Girard being done for the rest of the year.
No, because that's a hard play.
Yeah,
That's a hard hockey play, and it is. That was a vicious hit. It was a little bit more vicious than it needed to be, but it was still within the rules. And that man is out for the remainder of the season, however far the Avalanche go. Binnington's not. We know that he's out at least for the rest of this series. But the Sam Girard thing happened first. And Nazem Kadri didn't do what he did because of retaliation for Sam Girard. If anybody's talking about that, just stop playing this episode, because it's ridiculous that you're even going to think that.
yeah.
But the Sam Girard play was a hard hockey play. And what Nazem Kadri did was dirty, because there is a free puck sitting in front of the goal, and he's going after it to try to score a goal for his team. You're telling him not to do that. You're telling him what our guy did is okay, and I'm telling you it's okay. And then you're also saying what our guy is in the Avalanche guy, Nazem Kadri, did is shady.
Yeah.
I can't. And then the thing that really irks you is Berube's ridiculous comments after the game is over, and saying, "Well, look at Kadri, look at his reputation." Who's the one man that shouldn't be mentioning anything about reputation? And it's Berube. He needs to shut his mouth when it comes to that, because that was me thrown to rabid dogs, and now the fan base is just, now they can say whatever they want because our head coach said that, and you're all at fault right here.
And Jordan Binnington chased Devin Dubnyk. He swung a stick at Nazem Kadri. He threw the water bottle. Like, there has been a lot more intentional stuff from the Binnington camp than Nas. And honestly, let's just be real here. Up until this last game, you haven't heard a single thing out of Nazem Kadri, good or bad. You haven't been talking about his scoring. You haven't been talking about his positions and what he's been doing right. Like, he had a tip-in goal that was great. That was after the fact. But you also are like, he hasn't been physical. He hasn't been scoring. Like, he hasn't been a factor. And Calle Rosen made him more of a factor than he did all playoffs.
It's true, yeah. But I just feel like if this play was made by anybody else on the Avs with any other name on the back of the uniform, we're not talking about this.
No.
It's two unfortunate events. One happened to our guy and the other happened to theirs. And that's what it is. There's nothing malicious there for what Kadri did. And I'm not recording this with you right now with the anticipation that I'm going to change the minds of any St. Louis Blues fans. That's not happening. They're getting ready to post in the comments of this episode, I can guarantee you. And go ahead. You're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change yours. That is what it is. But if we're getting to where you have to call authorities to investigate, and I've seen some tweets. I have seen some tweets that have gone up. And the other thing that you hear nothing from is the St. Louis Blues Club themselves.
Yep.
I have not seen a single thing saying we condemn this stuff.
Yeah.
So, and what's taking so long? Like, it's Twitter. You can load that up in a split second. So now it's too late. I don't even care. If I wake up in the morning and they finally put something up, that's smoke and mirrors to me. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, now this is, and how you were saying, people are calling for blood. It's not just random fans on Twitter. It's writers.
Yeah.
It's journalists. Where happened to, like, the journalistic integrity? And what happened to them? Because they have more of a voice than, Joe Schmo on Twitter. Where's that coming out and saying, like, this isn't who we are? You're saying it is. So this whole thing is a joke, and the entirety of the joke is coming from St. Louis, and I don't even care what people take from that.
Like, look around you. Like, St. Louis fans, I know after what Chris just said, you guys are really firing up the keyboard. I'm speaking to you now. Look up from your keyboard. Look at me in the eyes. Look around you right now. Look to your left, look to your right. There's no need for the keyboard warriors, the hate, the anger. Like, injuries happen. Fluke situations happen. Like, you got to drop the hate. You've got, like, there is no need for it right now. Like, if we wanted to go out for blood every time the Avalanche got injured, boy howdy, we would have had a lot of stuff going up during the bubble year and last year during the Vegas series. Like, it's a part of the game. Do you see any of us getting, like, upset calling for blood because Sammy G broke his sternum?
No. I don't see it.
Nope.
Like, it sucks. It sucks for us, but we're not out saying that stuff.
And I was looking for it because I wanted to see everyone's reaction to that hit. Little did I know that what it would turn into. And we were just watching tweets as they were going live during the game of all of these threats and these hateful things going up. And it just made you look at the fan base as a whole. And, like, if you're a Blues fan, come on. Like, think of how you're, like, everyone around you is conducting yourself. You got to say, hey, guys, okay, maybe we're taking this a little far. And it's too late to say this now because, like, the authorities are getting involved, but you've got to hold someone accountable and, like, be a little bit more responsible here because guess what? All of this is going on and everybody gets to go home to their family. Like, Binnington was able to get up and try his knee out. Like, it's not as terrible as you're making it. And you still have Husso. So what are we complaining about here? You don't have to defend Binnington. So take a breath.
I mean, I don't know. Like, sometimes I like having that extra day. Like, we didn't record the episode right after. And I put up when that collision happened, kind of jokingly, like, here comes all the Blues fans just calling for Nazem Kadri's head. Little did I think it would be this bad. Mm-hmm. I thought you could objectively look at that play and say, like, yeah, that's just a freak accident on a hockey play. The guy is making a hockey play. And Blues fans are out there saying, like, this is 2 games in a row where we've run the goalie. If Nazem Kadri wanted to run the goalie, that's really easy to do.
Yeah.
It's the goalie is stagnant he's in a little space. He doesn't move. You know exactly where he's going to be. Nazem Kadri could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a hockey play. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you're going to defend the hit on Girard and then turn around minutes later and say what Girard or what Kadri did was intentional, I question your knowledge of the game. I do. Yeah. And if you're just a playoff warrior where you tune in for the playoffs, maybe sit this one out because you genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
I've seen that Kadri hit 100,000 times from different players, different goalies, different situations. Everybody gets back up, dusts their self back off, and play resumes. Like, it's no big deal. It was just the situation, the players involved, and the outcome were different this time. And I just don't understand the hatred to this level. Yeah.
Because it's Nazem Kadri. That is the only reason.
There's a difference in Nazem Kadri that you know and the Nazem Kadri you get now. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of, like, the playoff warriors, like you mentioned, they can't make that distinction. Mm-hmm. And it's terrible. It's sad.
And then you have the whole water bottle situation.
Yeah.
And Nazem Kadri's given an interview with TNT moments after the game is over. And I was watching it live when it was happening. Mm-hmm. They ask him about the play, and then you see his attention get diverted. And I thought there was just a teammate or something over there. And then he comments that Binnington just threw a water bottle at him. And people out in, Twitter sphere are saying like, oh, did we get fingerprints on the bottle? Is everyone okay? It's not the bottle. It's the childlike behavior yet again from Jordan Binnington. I'm sorry you got hurt, but guys are going to play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And hockey's a violent sport. And you just saw someone get hurt in Sam Girard with a broken sternum. Things like this can happen. And, if Binnington wants to go in front of the press and make some comments, feel free. I would expect him to be, something I could watch on Disney Junior. But, just the act of like, I'm going to go find this guy and throw a bottle at it. And I believe the bottle was empty. It's not like he was launching at his head or anything. It's just the act of like, this is just giving more. The fan base is going to back this even more now because all the things that Berube said, the throwing the water bottle, the Blues are mad. The Blues are mad, and that trickles down to the fan base, and then you see all of this nonsense going on social media. I don't get it. I genuinely want to know what do you want him to do? You want him to stop playing. You want him to not go after a puck that's right in front of the crease and potentially score a goal for his team. That is what you are saying. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I can't believe like we are talking about this as much as we are because the Blues are still angry about what Nazem Kadri did, and that is fine too. Yeah. If you want to be mad for the rest of your life, that's fine. That doesn't mean everything the guy does is intentional and dirty. It's to the point where he could get kicked out of a face-off right now, and Blues fans would say that's dirty. What he did was just dirty. Suspend it. Like it's getting to that level. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, so. It takes away from like really great moments from the game, and it takes away from the game entirely. Like I just don't get it.
I woke up feeling like good about that they won the game, and then now they're back up in the series. And then as I'm like waking up and I have my morning coffee, and I just felt like this series, I think maybe just took a turn.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that because we do have to talk about the Sammy Girard thing. Mm-hmm. Who's going to replace him? So, and we'll talk about the game as well because obviously a game was played, and here we are talking about a hockey play.
Yeah.
That's what we're sitting here talking about, a hockey play. But anyway, let's talk about Athletic Greens. It's our latest sponsor. It's something that Kyle and I have been using for a couple months now. And with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens in your morning water, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole source superfoods, and probiotics. To help you start your day right, this special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, and your immune system, and your energy, recovery, your focus, your aging. You name it, it covers it. And I got to say, and Kyle would agree, that this stuff tastes pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Not pretty good. Excellent. You see a lot of these green-looking drinks, and you're like, that's going to taste like grass. No, this stuff is fruity tasting. So it might look like you're just drinking like liquid guacamole, but no, it's delicious stuff. Would you?
It
agree?
Really is. Oh yeah, I love it.
It's excellent. So it's excellent. So Athletic Greens was created when the founder experienced a ton of gut health issues and ended up on a complicated supplement routine to recover. It cost him over $100 a day, but this will cost you less than $3 a day, and you're investing in your health. So it's cheaper than your coffee and cold brew habits, which I admit I don't think I could ever give that up. My coffee and cold, no, can't have it. But right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Once again, athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So let's talk about the game first, and then we'll get to who replaces Sammy Girard. This was a game. coming from going back to social media, coming from Avalanche fan base, they were ready to just cut bait. They were just ready to just end the season.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to like remind people you're gonna lose in the playoffs, probably multiple times. But the sign of a good team is to come back. And we were saying how this is a chess match. Avalanche completely dominant in game 1. You knew the Blues were going to make some adjustments. They did. They were the aggressor in game 2 and stole it. And you knew the Avs were going to come back. One of those changes, Logan O'Connor. And it paid off in dividends because he netted a goal. And this is where the Ken doll made a good move and made an adjustment. And overall, I thought the Avs, it wasn't as dominant a performance. This was game 1 completely Avs. Game 2 definitely leaning towards St. Louis. This one, when you look at the numbers and you look at the metrics, everything is even.
Yeah.
All of it. So I would think it would slightly lean towards the Av because as the game went on, if you felt like they were a little bit more in command, a little bit more comfortable, and I thought they played a well, hard fought game.
Yeah, if you look at the stats, like the Blues kind of get the edge in a lot of the normal run of the mill stats, like shots on goal and stats. Nobody converted the power play. The Blues were better in the face-off. I think the big difference for the Avalanche and the Blues was the Avalanche time on attack. They got back to setting up and making their shots matter. And LOC immediately earning his place in the roster. He looked great. Lehkonen with 2 goals. That's what you want.
Great.
That's what you want to see. That's when games feel really good when Lehkonen scores. And Landeskog scoring as well is like a cherry on top.
Now, the LOC goal was when Manson was coming right out of the penalty box, and it was lifted. I can't remember who lifted it up to him, but, I mean, it was close of him being offsides. And I don't know one way or another because we didn't really get multiple views. We got like 2 views that they kept showing over and over again. And I don't think they were showing the blue line camera because that doesn't go upwards. That just goes straight out from the glass. And because the puck was lifted so high, it didn't seem like it picked up where it was in conjunction with Manson. So I think it was a smart move by St. Louis not to challenge that.
Yeah.
Because I think it would just been inconclusive. It was very, very close, but the Avs benefited from it because that was the Logan O'Connor goal. And you mentioned Arturi Lehkonen, man, one of his best games as an Avs, and not just because of the 2 goals, but he just was everywhere. He was fortunate when they put him and Nichushkin on the same line together. That is a nightmare for the opposition to get the puck through the neutral zone.
And you got an assist out of Mikos, so he's finally starting just a little bit to get going.
He's not. He's just not. I know you want. I know you want to give him some cred, but dude, he's not. I don't know what it is with him. Like he got 2 assists actually on the day. He had 2 assists, but and assists are good. Assists are important. We need him to score goals. We do. I felt like early in the game, Mikko was really trying because I think he's starting to feel the pressure.
Mm-hmm. And then, he was present, he was there, and then not again. I don't know what's going on with Mikko, but I felt him at the beginning. I could see him being present.
Right.
But then I think second and third period, I don't remember seeing Mikko Rantanen at all.
He had 2 assists, but they were both the secondary assists.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. How many shots on goal did he have? Let me see. 3. I mean, Nathan MacKinnon only had 2, but I got to give a lot of credit to Ryan O'Reilly here because he is shutting Nathan MacKinnon down. And, okay, now you have to deal with that. And the Avs have a lot of offensive firepower. They can figure out other ways. But Ryan O'Reilly is making it very difficult for Nathan MacKinnon. And that's going to continue in Game 4 because with the Blues having last change, whenever MacKinnon is out there, Ryan O'Reilly is going to be out there. So either Nathan MacKinnon... I'm not going to say he needs to step up his game. He knows that.
Yeah.
He's always playing 110%. But I think it's just is a lot of credit needs to go to Ryan O'Reilly for really shutting him down. He's doing a really good job of doing that. You have to admit that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The Blues, the one goal, there was a missed interference call. That was, I don't know who it was, but it was on Mikko Rantanen. I don't know. That was as much in the open ice as you can get.
Yeah.
So it must have just happened when the ref was looking away for a split second, and it ended up being a Blues goal. And I don't know, did you get a little nervous in this one, thinking like this is a recipe for the Blues to come back and grab this one? Because when they were up 3-1, I literally said to myself, get through this period up 3-1.
Yeah.
And then they score a goal with like 30, 40 seconds left.
Yeah, the Ryan O'Reilly goal at the end of the second, I was like, oh, it cut our lead in half. I was like, this is not what you want right here. But then it's even more poetic that Gabe Landeskog was the guy to score for the Avalanche to put us ahead again.
Yeah.
And then it really rebuilt the confidence, because I think he felt the same thing that we were all thinking at that time. And he's like, oh, no, we're not dropping this one. And Landy did Landy things.
Yeah, and then I thought Darcy Kemper was good for the most. I mean, the first goal was another deflection off an Avalanche stick. This one was a shattered stick that was off of Devon Taves. So overall, he's playing exceptionally well.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Bet Online, and then we have a sound check to get to. And questions on Game 4. Have we turned the corner? Is this now going to be a physical game? And who takes the place of Sammy G? That is a big question. But first, betonline.net. It's your continued source, the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, sports news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, the hockey playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even the next season's NFL's futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs to esports and more. So you can head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in the action. That's betonline.net. It's where the game starts. All right, sir, we have a sound check that we need to do. And if you are not familiar with this, after every game, win or lose, Kyle and I will pick two songs that we feel best summarize the most recent game. In this case, Game 3 against the St. Louis Blues, round 2 of the playoffs. And you can follow this. We add these songs to the Spotify playlist. Just search LOPN Soundcheck. These two are already on there because it was a Saturday game. I threw them up there already. So if you follow that playlist, you know what they are. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know what they are because I put them up there. But we still have to mention it on the show. So here we go. What do you got, Kyle?
First game in St. Louis. Naturally, got to go with low-key favorite. I love these guys. I love both of them. Big and Rich, come into your city. We put a little yin in there, yang yang, as we came into their city. And we took over.
Is that a lyric?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I know the song, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's been the theme for like college football every Saturday for years. But
I had put up on Twitter like I said on Twitter that TNT is aware that Jack White has more songs than the one that they keep playing. Or that's what I hate about when a network takes a song, you grow to hate it. And I love Jack White, and I am going to hate that song. And the Big and Rich song is another one. They always play it. I think you're right. Yeah, for college football. Yeah. That, and then there was another one. I don't know.
Imagine Dragons. They killed that band.
What's this song? The Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
Walking down, and then there's another one, that Centuries song. You remember me for Centuries?
Oh yeah.
They always play that at the draft, and I'm like, you have billions of songs out there, and you're playing one on repeat. It's driving me crazy. But for that one, for you, that makes all the sense in the world. Now we need to do it again. For me, I went the Binnington route with the throwing of the bottle. And I went with The Police, Message in a Bottle. Because is it big? Like I said earlier, it's not the bottle itself, but what is the message getting sent?
Yeah.
Are we now getting into a more physical series? Game 1 and Game 2, everybody was kind of on their best behavior. You really didn't have a ton of penalties. You haven't had a ton of penalties in this series. But now, was that the message sender of throwing a bottle at Nazem Kadri while he's doing a press conference? So I had to go with The Police there. And I'm not a big Police fan.
That song's got a really good vibe and a hook.
It does. It does. I mean, Police are one of those bands that it's like I respect the hell out of them. Like they're great musicians. I'm just not big on the sound. But but that's a song that I think everybody likes. But I'll throw that question to you though. It's the series now turned a corner. Like is it gloves off, or do teams have to understand like this is the playoffs? We can't do that stuff because we are really hurting our team if we are going to intentionally try to take someone out, retaliate, get those 10-minute misconducts. Teams don't do that stuff in the playoffs, but this is the Avs and the Blues. Is it going to happen?
And I love how you're asking this and then also talking about who's going to take up for Sammy G.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's natural reaction now.
Well, yeah, everyone's going to think Curtis McDermott.
When Sammy G went down, I made sure to let everyone know what's about to happen. And I'll say it right here so everybody knows this. Everybody take off your Curtis McDermott hats. Put your fan apparel away. I don't think we're going to see him the rest of the playoffs.
I don't think so either.
And it's not going to be Jack Johnson filling that role either. I have a feeling we're going to see Ryan Murray the rest of the way.
If you were telling me to rank them, I would think Jack Johnson would be 1, Ryan Murray 2, and McDermott 3. And I've seen things already that are saying it is Jack Johnson. It's nothing official, but I have seen, kind of the reputable sources for the Avs saying that they have heard it is Jack Johnson. And that was my thinking in the very beginning. I think he's played the most out of those guys. You get the Johnson & Johnson line back together. You bump Bowen Byram up to the second unit with Manson. And away you go. I don't think you bring in McDermott for this because you're just fine. Like if they're going to retaliate and you need to defend yourself, you're just fine with those guys that are in there. I'm not putting Curtis McDermott in there just to police the ice for 5 minutes in case something goes haywire. I don't see that happening. If he could benefit you in any way on the defensive end or offensive end, then fine. And we're all impressed with how he improved throughout the year, but this is playoffs. You're not doing it there. Yeah.
I would much if it is Jack Johnson, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'd much rather see Ryan Murray because of what Jack Johnson has. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on him.
On Johnson?
Yeah.
I mean, his play did deteriorate as late in the season. But he's an older guy. Maybe he was just running out of steam, and maybe he just, he's been out for a little while. So he is rested, and he should be ready to go. Ryan Murray, I don't know. He really did nothing for me throughout the year. So, and he's been out for so long. I just don't.
And that's exactly why I would put in Ryan Murray. He's a net zero. If Jack Johnson messes up, it's crucial.
Yeah, it would be. And I've even seen like people throwing out there, like maybe put McDermott in just for this game. Because if the Blues are going to do anything, it's going to be in this game. And like, nah, I still don't do that. I don't, and I did a segment with Gil. He hosts the Monday Locked On NHL from Locked On Islanders. And he brought up a good point. He's like, because we're talking about how do you do this? If you're the Blues, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place because you want to defend your teammate, but you don't want to hurt your team at the same time. So he was saying, he kind of feels like let the game play out. And if it gets out of hand, either way, say the Avs are up 5-1, or if the Blues are up 5-1, then you start with your antics with 2, 3, 4 minutes left in the game. I was like, I could see that. I think a lot of people want opening puck drop, people going after Kadri. I don't think that's going to happen. He might be onto something where it's, late in the game. If the game is not in question, maybe start seeing haymakers getting thrown.
Well, I'll say this now in closing. Nobody defended Sam Girard after he was taken out, and nobody defended Binnington when he was taken out. There were no punches thrown. There was nobody jumping up and starting anything at the time for either Sammy G or Binnington. So I think the war is in the seats and on Twitter and everywhere else. I don't think anybody on the ice wants that.
I would normally agree with you if Berube didn't say what he did. I would agree with you. He gave his team the open door to go retaliate if you want to, unless he's telling them in practice like we can't afford that.
Yeah.
But for him to say that, I think all bets are off. Normally, I would agree with you. If he didn't say that, I think you would get a lot of guys saying like unfortunate incident. But when you throw out the look at his history, first of all, glass houses. Second of all, you just gave your team open the floodgates is basically what you're telling them. We shall see. Game 4 is going to be very interesting. We could see a lot of this. We could see none of it. Neither would surprise me. But either way, Kyle and I will be back tomorrow to discuss it because the Avs. It's on top of all that nonsense. It's a big game. The Avs can be up 3-1 if they win this thing going back to Denver. That's exactly what they want. Blues obviously want the opposite. They want to tie this thing. So there's so many different storylines going on right now. And Kyle and I will be back tomorrow to discuss it all. So that's going to be it for now. Comment away. I'm expecting Kyle's got a big day of responding to comments on Monday. So that'll be it, guys. Thank you for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. Obviously, that is always appreciated. And we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully the Avs can steal 2 in St. Louis. Until then, he is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli, and this is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.